Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dan Sheets with Down in the Den 734. Back at it with another video for you guys. Coming off of the combine for the defensive edge rush spot, specifically my top 5 that I think the Detroit Lions should be targeting based on where we're drafting. There are going to be a few edge rushers that you're not going to see on this list. At the end of the day, Abdul Carter is going to go way higher than I believe the Detroit Lions would ever be able to pick him up at. So, and a few other players. But this is my list of guys that I believe would be available either at the back half of the first round if we decide to stick and pick, which I could go either way, trading out to get more capital or staying and paying. We're going to see what that looks like. But this is my top 5 given where we are at. And I want to see what you guys' thoughts are. So let's get into it without further ado. My first rated guy is JT Tuimoloau. I know I'm going to get hate for that. I know there's going to be a lot of pushback, a lot of frustration, potentially, with me skipping on Jack Sawyer, Landon Jackson. They're on the list. They're just not my number one. The number one is JT. 6'5", 269, 61 tackles, 12.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 0 fumble recoveries, but 667 defensive snaps played. My list here, as you can see, tone setter, freak motor, productive. I don't believe that the Ohio State defense is as productive and as good without him. Watching the tape, and I watched a lot of tape, specifically on Ohio State's defense, because I have 3 guys that I've rated that are highly. Okay, Tyreek Williams on the interior, and then him and Jack Sawyer on the outside. He's the guy. JT is the guy. And that's my opinion. I think he is the number one edge rusher. Even at 28, if we trade out, he is absolutely the number one edge rusher available. You could put Landon Jackson up there too, but he is definitely my number one. Okay, and the film speaks for it. It's phenomenal tape. Chases down the quarterback effortlessly. Dude's a stud. Dude is an absolute stud. And there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to see here. Like, look at this. Boom, right off the outside. Bendy, quick, relentless motor. And I love it. The guy just continues to seek out whoever it is he's chasing down, either running back or quarterback. The way he plays is awesome. He's kind of abusing that tackle right there. I love that. You fake outside, kind of put yourself inside, and run right through the chest. That play right there is a beautiful surf technique. Straight down the line. Look, backed it up right with another one. Straight down the line. Ride that wave. Bring the tackle. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. He's a very productive defensive edge rusher and someone I think could make an immediate impact for the Detroit Lions. It's fantastic. Like I said, there's not a whole lot I can say while watching this guy. I've watched a lot of film on him. It's all good. And so I'm kind of just trying to basically rewatch or take it in with you guys, man. I mean, look at that. Boom. Set him up beautifully for that spin. Sad he didn't make that play, but hey, that happens. Almost got a pick there. So, like, for me, he's number one, without a doubt. Straight down the line, making plays. It's fantastic. Beautiful. My next guy, Mike Green. There's a lot of people out there that are going to hem and haw on, okay, well, why do you have a guy who everyone says is probably going to go late half of the first round? Why do you have him going behind JT? Simple answer. I don't know if the ceiling for Mike Green is as high as it is for JT. My opinion. I like Mike Green. Very productive. Really good Senior Bowl. Really good pro day. Or is going to have a really good pro day, but really good Senior Bowl. I like JT more. But Mike Green is fantastic. And a freak from a productivity standpoint. I mean, the stats that he had in 2024 are crazy. 17 sacks, 81 tackles, 38 of those solo, 3 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. Almost 720 snaps, which for a defensive lineman is pretty crazy. You want to rotate those guys in and out, keep them fresh. And the fact that he played that much is a testament to just how much of a freak athlete that dude is. He's going to continue to go. He's got no quit in him. So, jumping into the tape kind of speaks for it, man. I mean, he's a relentless dude. He just goes. He's hunting quarterbacks for sure. That's obviously the strong suit. But with 80 tackles, you don't do that without doing some of the dirty work in the run game either. I like watching how he does different things, in terms of the chop. He's not as fluid going straight down the line of scrimmage as you'd want. He does come upfield. But I think he's so athletic that he's able to make that work for him. Like that right there. That's crazy. That one's a bit more straight down the line. He did take that block on pretty damn well. That's just quickness. But this is what I'm talking about. Getting an edge rusher is so impactful in this draft because we needed it. We saw a war of attrition on that Detroit Lions defensive line, and edge rush took a huge hit. It was sad to see because I feel like if we could keep our guys healthy, mainly Aiden Hutchinson, but if we could keep our guys healthy, Aleem McNeil's also in that discussion. We are doing things in the playoffs last year, okay? And I think that we've got to address that. We've got to have depth of playmakers at these spots. And Mike Green's a guy who can definitely make impacts. Stud. Third on my list is Landon Jackson. Talked about it, and I'm not mad if this guy is the pick that the Lions make after they trade out of the first round. I'm not mad at it at all. I would love this guy. He shined at the combine. Athleticism all over the place. What, a 40-inch vert, I think is what it was. Great 40 time. I think he ran a 4.65 at that size. That's a big dude. I think a delta for him, was obviously the negative press and tape, that viral video that came out when he came out of high school. But he has righted those wrongs. I mean, this dude is a stud. And 6.5 sacks, 49 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. Insane frame. Can put more weight on that frame for sure when he gets into the league. I just think there's a lot of potential with him. You're going to hear a lot out of these videos that I make where I'm talking about dude's ceilings. That's where I'm ranking you, is because of what I see and how I feel like you are as a human being in terms of what you could contribute. What's that look like? Are you plateauing? Like, has your ceiling are you capped? Or is there more you can give? Can you become a perennial pro? And here we're going to get into the film. Beautiful technique, splitting those two. Relentless QB pressure. And at that size, I mean, not only is it an intimidation thing, but I mean, you have so much at your disposal in terms of the wingspan, how quickly you're able to get down and make plays and really be effective and just be violent. I mean, it's awesome to watch him like a predator kind of chase these plays down and do it from a place of strength. And he is very lengthy. He's very fluid, and he does a lot of things right. A lot of things right. Beautiful technique too. And another sack, And as a coach, that's what you want to see. That right there, beautiful. And I think I highlighted this earlier, but I'm going to speak on it again. There's a lot of things that he does that doesn't contribute to the play being made. Like, he's not the one getting the stat, but he has impacted that play. And that's down to being a great teammate, but also having a great sense of what you need to do and what your job is. Doing your job to the best of your ability. It's fantastic. I just think there's a lot of really good tape on everybody that's in this top 5. And Landon is no exception. It's awesome. Great plays. And then hustle play. Chase it down. I love this play. Literally all hustle and heart. And that leads me to 4. A lot of people I've seen putting these lists together of their top-rated edge rushers and defensive ends have Jack Sawyer pretty high. He's in my top 5, so he's high. This is a deep edge rush class. I just think that there are better players, and you know, I do want to make sure I address this because it was a frustration of mine as a Michigan fan to see how he handled the loss to Michigan at their house. But I can also see it as a positive for him. He's a hometown kid, grew up there in Columbus, went to Ohio State. That's his team, right? My positive for him is that loyalty, that mindset, that competition, the competitor in him was so strong that he just could not help himself. Good and bad. But that kind of speaks to the attitude we kind of want on the Detroit Lions, defensive line, right? So for me, he's a 4. I would take JT over him in a heartbeat. That's me. I just think that there's a higher ceiling for JT. I think Jack has capped. I think Jack is what you see is what you get. There's not going to be a whole lot of improvement. There might be subtle changes to how he plays the game, and obviously to his size and stature. But I think he's capped in terms of what he could be. I think he's a good player, and he will play. A team in the league will utilize his skill set, and he'll be a contributor in some way, shape, or form. I just don't think he's going to be as high a contributor as I feel like some of these other guys could be. And that's just due to the fact that I feel like they have more to give. Plain and simple. 59 tackles, 9 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and an interception. Ideal size and strength to play early. I think that goes without saying. A lot of these guys do have that, and Jack has it as well. High motor. I mean, this dude is relentless on and off the field, man. He does not stop. He wants to be the best version of himself possible, and we love those kind of guys. You're going to see a lot in this film. Right place, wrong time. And he makes plays. I mean, he's definitely got tackles. He's got sacks. Like right here, boom. Beautiful play down the line of scrimmage. But there's a lot of tape I've watched on him where he just either misses or he just wasn't in the right spot when he needed to be. Not an insane thing because defensive linemen, these plays happen so fast. You can't look at it in a vacuum, right? It's quick. It's just sometimes luck of the draw. And I don't know I just feel like, when I see some of the stuff that JT was doing, it just, to me, felt like he was a bit more productive than Jack Sawyer was at times. But great football player. Either way you look at it. He's not making the top 5 if he's not going to be an impact player in the league at some point, he's going to be a contributing member of an NFL team. I don't want to necessarily go on a limb and say impact player. He will contribute. Overall. And I think it speaks, I might have highlighted this earlier, but I think it speaks to the defensive line coach that Ohio State had or has. And that dude is phenomenal. And they are super well coached on that line. You got Ty Leak, who is in the interior D-line, and then obviously JT, who's in the same list here as Jack. They're all studs. All of them. I love the fight, though. That's fantastic. Just keep fighting down the line of scrimmage. Go make a play. Go make a play. And to round out the list, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, Kyle Kennard, 11.5 sacks, 28 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 554 defensive snaps. The thing that popped off the tape to me, leadership. Tone setter, freak motor, does not stop, but I also like, all right, and you're going to see it in the film, I love the instinctual ability this man has to find the football. He could be tackling a running back, tackling the quarterback, coming out off the end on a sack. He is punching, ripping, clubbing, tomahawk, slap, whatever. He's going for the ball. I love that. NFL teams are going to love that. And if the Lions decide to address other needs early, and some of these guys that I have higher rated than him on this list, if Kyle Kennard's sitting around round 2, round 3, if he's sitting around and we've got that draft pick and he's available and we've assessed other needs and drafted in that way, why not? Why not? The guy's productive. Look at that. Fight, boom, ball out. You're going to see it in a few of these highlights here. That man finds a way to get the ball off. Just he's trying to get change of possession all the time. It's fantastic. It's the way you want to play football. Looking for turnovers. Like, even if you don't get the turnover, like that play right there, he did not make a turnover happen, but he was going for it. Bend over the top. He's trying to punch that ball out. Didn't get it, but he was going for it. Beautiful. Collapse the tackle, straight into the quarterback, getting that sack. And you don't get a C on your chest. Like, you're not a leader if it's not warranted. I mean, they love this dude. Like, he's a locker room guy. Him and Jack Sawyer both. You know, I want to make sure I go back to Jack on that one because they love him too. He's a leader. But Kyle Kennard, I mean, man, what a stud. Kind of a fan here watching this film. Yeah, look at that. It's just quick, aggressive twitch movements, and he's always trying to make a play. Always trying to make a play. So yeah, that's my top 5. You know, from an edge rush standpoint for this draft coming up. And let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. You know, I think that this is a fantastic list of human beings that could make impacts for our Detroit Lions here this year. And would love to get your input. Put something in the comments, man. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate it, man. You guys have a good rest of your day. All right? We'll see you on the next one.